First of all, thanks for coming, everybody, and those of you that are tuning in on the web. Um, as Dan said, we hold these things periodically back in DC, and some of you are able to get back there, some of you are not. For those meetings, usually the folks that you have representing you back there show up. But we thought since we were going to be in Denver this week anyway for a leadership team meeting that we would go ahead and schedule one of these. We've done these in the past out west. It's just a better opportunity, frankly, for us to meet with the individuals that from the districts themselves in a little more convenient manner for you all. As Dan mentioned, I'm acting commissioner right now. My background, if you haven't heard, is I spent over 30 years here in this building working on technical issues here on design and planning work for predominantly construction, but also O&M. Been back in DC about 1.5 years now as Deputy Commissioner for Operations, where I get to work with all the regional directors and the folks here in this building that do those technical designs. With Deputy Secretary Connor's move up to the Deputy Secretary position, he asked me to step in while we get another commissioner confirmed. Mr. Esteban Lopez has cleared committee. He is awaiting a floor vote at this time. We would expect something this summer, fall, but we are quickly running out of time in July before their August recess. So we're fingers crossed that we will get Esteban in place here in short order. The agenda covers a lot of topics, short, medium term. You all can, the folks that will be speaking have a lot more details than I can provide at this time, but I think you're going to find it's a pretty thorough agenda. We've got drought issues that we're dealing with across the West. It's a pretty historic year in California, Colorado, New Mexico, Nebraska, Kansas. The panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas are experiencing unprecedented droughts. So we've got our hands full this summer, quite frankly. The budget issues, Mr. Wolf will talk about those. We've got a House action for 15 that is not as friendly maybe as we would hope, but I think if we get to the Senate, we'll fare a little bit better in that, and then when we get to a compromise bill out of conference, that will, I think we will fare well. It's just you never know in this environment. It's a tough economic time or budget time. You're going to hear on some long-term issues here that we're dealing with on safety. We've had some issues up in the Pacific Northwest that have really opened our eyes that we need to refocus on safety across this organization. We've got, excuse me, the climate change issue that we're dealing with. Whatever the reason behind the changes in weather patterns, we certainly are seeing them, and we need to be adaptive and ready to manage our infrastructure to accommodate those new patterns. And then Don Glazier is going to talk about aging infrastructure. We teed this up back at Family Farm in February. It's going to be a long-term action for us to get our arms more around that issue in a manner that we can address the long-term challenges that you all face and that we face in a transparent manner that we can more easily explain to the folks on the Hill and at OMB to demonstrate the need for us to continue to invest in that infrastructure we've put so much time and energy into over the years. One thing that's not on the agenda but might be on your minds is we've had to come up with a marijuana policy in this agency, and the reality is it's new territory for us. We're going to have some time at the end for Q&As. If we do want to have some questions on that, we'll be ready to hopefully clarify our position on that. But the reason we took that on, candidly, is after the laws passed in Colorado and Washington, we started getting inquiries from districts as to what are we supposed to do with this. And so we had to take it on, and we've come up with a policy. We worked with the White House, we worked with DOJ, and we worked within the department to come up with a temporary policy that we can have out on the street this irrigation season, and then we'll regroup within about a year or so. So I think you're going to hear more about these other subjects. We can certainly expand on the marijuana discussion if you'd like. The folks in policy are here to help lay out that process. And with that, hopefully you'll stick around. Those of you that are here, go across the street, see the lab. It's pretty impressive if you haven't been there before. And if, with any luck, we'll be able to break a big concrete cylinder, and we'll send some concrete home with you if you'd like, because we just have to shovel it off anyway. Okay, thanks.